who joins us now from Shanla Urfa. Oubai, the regime is said to have targeted Khan Sheikhoun with airstrikes before its capture. This appears to be a systematic policy.
Well, the Russian Air Force and their Assad regime auxiliaries are carving a path of destruction throughout northwestern Syria, from Khan Sheikhoun to Maret Noman to Kafr Nabal. It seems that, backed by the full might of the Russian Air Force, the Assad regime and their militias on the ground continue their advance. And the targeting seems to be indiscriminate. We've seen some horrific images coming out this morning from the first responders on the ground. Over a dozen women and children have been killed in the latest round of fresh bombings by the Russian Air Force and the Assad regime. The footage is so horrific and so destructive. We can't even show it to our viewers here. We're talking about a teenager that was cut in half. We're talking about babies, infants that have been, and their bodies being pulled out of the rubble. And this is the reality today coming out of Syria. We're seeing the level of destruction continues to escalate. There has been no ceasefire. There is indeed no de-escalation as the Russian Air Force and the Assad regime continue their bombing campaign with the intent here to capture the strategic M5 highway. But there seems to be a secondary intent here to terrorize as many families as possible, to force them to leave their homes. And we've seen nearly 600,000 Syrians and their families pushed out of their homes in the past few months as the Assad regime and the Russian Air Force continue their campaign to capture territory for Bashar al-Assad.
But how bad is the humanitarian situation on the ground now?
Well, Rachel, we just returned from Syria, and it's as bad as I've ever seen it. I've been going in and out of Syria for the past 6 years, and I've never seen anything like this. You get used to war zones, but what you don't get used to is seeing images of little children and infants being killed in their sleep, and that's what we're seeing happening today. The Syrians that we've spoken with tell us that they have nowhere else to go. As I said, over 600,000 have been pushed out of their homes just since April alone. They're crowding along the border with Turkey. They're living in tents. They're living under trees. The humanitarian situation is absolutely dire as the Assad regime and the Russian Air Force continue their campaign of destruction in Idlib province in Syria.
Oubai Shahbandar joining us from Shanla Urfa. Oubai, thank you.